Hello all.
Bingo.
Hello all, my name is Charlotte and welcome to Tail Inferno. Today we're talking about feature writing and giving the 101 of what it's all about. Now feature writing is really quite a different take to journalism because, as it says in the title, it's a feature. It is meant to grasp our attention and give us a different perspective on journalism. In that regards, feature writing is quite a creative part of journalism. It takes the things that we as journalists wanted to talk about and write about, but also keeping in mind the audience and ensuring that they're engaged with what we're trying to say and what we're trying to communicate. So basically, feature writing is journalism crossed with creative writing. I mean, there is a formula to how this is written in regards to, as much as there's creative writing involved, it can't be too over the top creative. Like, it has to be factual, it has to make sense, and it has to follow journalistic principles. So we're not talking about just writing a creative piece. It's not like writing a creative story. It's not like writing a piece of fiction. It has to be engaging. It has to focus on the people. It has to focus on what people want to know. There are different approaches to writing a feature story. So you can go the fully creative approach by really putting in like descriptions about the events and really engaging the senses and the setting and everything like that. Or you can go the not so fully creative where you do just focus on the facts but still tear away from the factual and sometimes dry pieces of journalism. So you want to take a step back from your general news writing and delve a little bit into creativity. If you are looking at becoming a feature writer, where a lot of journalists these days, whether or not you're a normal, you're a general journalist, a TV journalist, a radio journalist, or whatever kind of journalist you are, you will take a step into feature writing at some point, or maybe you won't. But most of the time, feature writing is a moment where you get to step into this realm of really showing who you are and what you're passionate about and what you want people to know. It's taking a subject or a person or an event that's occurred and really telling people a story about it. Really goes hand in hand with the whole idea of igniting the story. When you're a journalist, that's the whole idea. You're being informative and you're telling a story and you're educating people on something that they need to know about. One side of feature writing as well, which you have to take a step away from, is that it's not an opinion piece. I mean, when it comes to creativity, there is a form of subjectivity in that as well. And part of feature writing is trying to allow the reader to form their own opinions on what you're talking about. There's a lot of preparation when it comes to feature writing. It's more 80% preparation and 20% writing. So in regards to preparation, it really is coming up with the idea. May it be through mind maps and finding out the different aspects that you can grab onto and focus on. And really coming up with an idea. Another part of feature writing is that it has to be quite specific in regards to what it's trying to communicate. So that whole preparation part is coming up with your central idea and who you're going to contact and how you're going to present it and the social media that comes part of it. You've really got to get some idea on the publication. Like, is it just going to go on your website? In which case you can do whatever the hell you like in regards to the language that you use or the perspective that you have. But if you're going for it to be published in, say, a local newspaper or your national newspaper or on a specific publication online, you've got to make sure that you prepare your story so that that audience and that publication actually wants your story. Then you've also got another aspect of feature writing, which is the personalities that you put in there and the talents that you put in there. So we're looking at, who you're interviewing, where you're getting information from. So it's really important to focus on who you're going to interview and who is the right person to talk to, and making sure that you have a variety of voices. And then suddenly you have your interviews and you're able to really solidify and cement what you're trying to write, and then you write it. I mean, at the end of the day, probably the easiest part, if you've done the preparation right. If you don't do the preparation right, writing is very difficult to do. Basically, feature writing is heaps of preparation, And it's still a lot of writing, but in regards to preparation, not that much. 80-20. Another part of feature writing which is really important is the theme. So as we all know, themes are basically is a universal principle. And the theme of a feature story really dictates who wants to read it. You can get all this information and you can interview someone, but if you've identified what your theme is, then you can really craft your story in that regards and get rid of all the information that you don't need. Another aspect of feature writing is balancing what people want or need to know and what you think people want to need to know. And there needs to be, as I said, a balance between that. Ultimately, feature writing is supposed to be timely all the time, because the feature stories are articles that people can go back to no matter how much time has gone by. I mean, they can be relevant to all stages of life, which is why the theme is so important. Really, your frame of mind should be, I'm really passionate about this part of life, and I've noticed recently that X, Y, and Z has happened that relates to this passion, and people, I have noticed, want to know about it. And finally, what I want to touch about in regards to feature writing is a very, very important part of feature writing, and that is how you start a feature writing story and how you finish a feature writing story. To begin a feature story, you really need to intrigue people, and you need to make sure that what you write wows them enough to make them continue reading. There's a whole bunch of different ways that you can start a feature article. You can start with an anecdote, you can start with what they call a zinger, or you can start with a quotation, or you can start with something that really wows someone, like you're reading all these stats, or you're reading about, this person has achieved this, and this. Oh, and by the way, they're only 10 years old. And you're like, what? Oh my God. And, that will get people reading because they want to know more about this person, if it's a profile piece, or, they want to know more about that aspect of life. And then when it comes to finishing the creative writing story, when it comes to finishing a feature article, it's about tying it back into how you begin. So it's almost like when you write an essay. You start with your introduction, you have your conclusion, but your conclusion will relate to what you introduced. And that's the same with feature writing. I mean, at the end of the day, you're linking back to the intro and why you're talking about that particular topic. And that's it. I hope you've enjoyed listening to me try to explain what feature writing is about. I hope that you understand what it's about and that you've actually been educated in what I've had to say. I hope you feel quite motivated as well, particularly if journalism is something that you're interested in doing, because feature writing is something that is fun. If you liked this and you want to hear more, I think you should subscribe, because that'd be really cool. You can also follow and like on all the social media that Taylor Inferno was on. So that's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. So yeah, I hope to see you again. If you're really interested in journalism, I'm sure I will talk more about it in the future. So as I said, give this a subscribe, give it a like, and check out the Taylor Inferno website in the link in the description. Hope you all have ignited the story, and I can't wait to see you again. Bye!